They're going to crucify you for something no matter what. So if you feel like you maybe said something that was on the line, you're not entirely sure, and you think maybe if you apologize it'll go away, remember, they went after Sarah Silverman, Lena Dunham, Aziz Ansari, Trudeau, Chris Evans. You haven't got a shot. Jump in the waters where we will always be here defending you and advocating against cancel culture. So let's move on to this segment here. The top 5 examples of SJWs, or let's just call them leftists now, because I think SJW is a flagged word on YouTube.
NPC. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, if you put SJW on YouTube, you're immediately demonetized. Yeah. So let's use this as a jumping off point. SNL, they dropped a new cast member, Shane Gillis, right? If you haven't followed this, we'll talk about it with Gavin next. This was following some social media outrage based on some jokes. They said he wouldn't be joining the cast. And his comments were, quote, offensive, hurtful, unacceptable to the Asian community, proving once again that Charlie can't take a joke. Bill can.
No. You actually know that no Asians were offended by the jokes, right? It was just white people wearing hemp hats on behalf of Asians, because all the Asians were laughing.
Right, yeah.
They're the white knights.
It was a guy from Vox or Vice or whoever it was who does the spoken bird poetry. But, it's good to know that SNL, that's not a joke, spoken bird poetry. Good thing to know that SNL draws the line at Asian jokes.
Joining us now are 3 peasant laborers from the factory in China where these iPhones were manufactured.
Oh, you upset with bug? Too many bug in phone. I sleep in communal bunk bed with 100 stranger. Lice are
okay, so it's just one racist Asian stereotype. Oh, there's 2 of them.
It's not even good.
One time, she was in line 21 days for baby formula.
Formula.
Food to feed baby.
So very similar. Yeah.
By the way, I actually thought the sketch was funny. The sketch was funny. Yeah. That's 2014, just so you know. It's not like we have to dig back through and go back to Rob Schneider or have to go back to Breakfast at Tiffany's. That's 2014.
Sorry, it was the 70s.
That's basically the last cast member who was replaced by the other black female cast member who was replaced by the other black female cast member. Just a never
woman of color.
I think we do need to make sure to appropriately punish all of the audience members who laughed at that joke in 2014.
He said it was funny.
I thought it was a funny sketch. Yeah, okay, by the way, for those who missed it, here's the controversial clip from the person they asked in question, so you can see it.
Damn, Chinatown's fucking nuts.
It's crazy, dude.
It is full fucking China. Dude, it's fucking Chinese down there.
I wonder how that started. They just built one fucked up looking building, and people were like, all right, no one said anything.
Let the fucking chicks live there, huh?
That's about it.
Yeah, that's a bit difficult.
It's not a big deal.
I mean, it's not. I don't think it's funny, but
no, it's not. But that wasn't necessarily the joke.
It's not offensive.
But here's this isn't an isolated incident. The mob is going to come after comics, celebrities, politicians, regardless of how woke they are, and that's why I want to cycle through 5 examples of the most woke people we can think of, leftist folks who then had the crocodiles turn on them. So, example number 5: Sarah Silverman. This is important. After Kevin Hart, remember, he was fired from the Oscars for his homophobic tweets that they dug through. Right. She didn't come to his defense. Instead, she said that she was done making gay jokes, and she likened the use of the word gay to racism.
I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I think I can find other ways to be funny.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I used to say gay all the time.
That's yet to be proven.
So gay. We're from Boston.
More like find a way.
That's what you say in Boston. I have gay friends. I just say gay. And then I heard myself and I realized I was like the guy who said, what? I say colored. I have colored friends.
Isn't it always great that this revelation comes after they've made their tens of millions of dollars?
Right, exactly.
Well, let me retire here to my Beverly Hills mansion and think about what I've done during a 97-hour spa
I can find other ways.
Everything was a shock comic joke until she did Wreck-It Ralph, and it's like now I get it.
Yes. Yeah.
Now I understand.
I've had an awakening.
As she paints her nails gold.
Now that I sleep on a bed of $1 million bills.
It's crazy to me that any comedians are doing this at all.
Yeah.
Of course, they should be, whether they agree with it or not, they should be championing free speech. That's what's so concerning to me. This is a shock comic who climbed the ladder and then pulled it up.
Yep.
And is now pelting other comedians with paintballs. I guess I don't know what she would use. She was not going to have a gun.
No, that's definitely not going to happen.
A gun.
It's a Nerf gun.
And so what happened? She found herself being canceled for doing a skit in blackface. Here's her talking about it.
I recently was going to do a movie, 2 days on a movie, a sweet part in a cool little movie. And then at 11 p.m. the night before, they fired me because they saw a picture of me in blackface from that episode.
Surprise,
Listen, I'm not
RBF.
that person anymore, but I was doing it. I didn't go to a Halloween party in the 80s in blackface. I was doing an episode about race. now I understand it's never okay and blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah. By the way, we are going to get to our number one spot is the most woke person you can think of who did go in blackface, not once, but twice.
Right.
I don't think she should have been canceled or punished at all.
Not
The
at
blackface sketch was about a girl who was tone deaf doing blackface to impress black people. I thought it was a funny sketch. I think Sarah Silverman can be very funny at times, and I am not advocating for her to be canceled at all.
No.
I am pointing out the standard by which they want to be judged.
Yeah.
I think conservatives need to be really careful about this. We shouldn't be advocating that anyone else get canceled.
No.
We should be pointing out their standards, but then we should be defending them and championing their right to do these things, to say these things, and not be canceled. And I'm not just talking about First Amendment. We talk about this all the time.
Right.
First Amendment obviously is government, no government infringement. But we are talking about a culture right now of bullying people into silence. And that is just as important. Okay, example number 4. This might surprise you. Lena Dunham. I've talked about her. Her dad draws anger vaginas. She's the creator. HBO, the woke series Girls, right? And also noted survivor of condoms and potted plants. She's effectively the SJW feminist archetype, right? She won awards for support of the LGBTQ community. She campaigned for Obama and Clinton. She pledged to move to Canada if Trump won.
If only.
Spoiler alert, she didn't. And she particularly made a big deal out of activism to fight sexual assault. She talked about being raped by a guy named Barry, the resident Republican at her college. And then she did this whole PSA, I think. Do we have a clip?
Yeah.
PSA about sexual assault. Yeah.
And 1 in 4 girls will be sexually abused before the age of 18.
This isn't a secret.
But not the one on the far
reality.
left.
So why is our default reaction as a society to disbelief or to silence?
Or to shame.
By the way, it's important to note, remember they did the 1 in 5 women are raped.
Right.
And they said 1 in 4 women are raped. And they said, well, 1 in 4 women are sexually assaulted. It's not true.
No.
It's not a true number.
Totally debunked.
If you look at the Bureau of Justice, if you look at the FBI statistics, it's just not factually accurate.
It is a number, though.
And by the way, her rape
hold
story was a
water.
hoax. And the editors of her memoir actually had to change the book after threats of legal action.
Yes.
So there's the argument in the court of public opinion, and then there's, all right, we have to pull it when it gets legal.
Right.
By the way, in that same book, vivid descriptions of sexually abusing her little sister.
Yeah.
Okay. Including spreading
Horrible.
her. If you have kids, leave the room. Spreading her sister's vagina open when she was 11, or her sister was 11 and she was 17. Bribing her with candy to kiss her on the lips, masturbating in bed next to her. This is Lena Dunham's own words. She wrote, anything a sexual predator might do to woo a small suburban girl, I was trying. So I guess in this, it's not so much cancel culture as it is sick, twisted, handsy older sister culture. This just shows you where the priorities are. The cancel movement, they didn't care about that. They cared about her hypocrisy on the Me Too movement, right? So this producer of the show Girls was accused of raping a 17-year-old girl. And then Lena Dunham responded, without any evidence that the girl was lying. This is her statement. While our first instinct is to listen to every woman's story, because you demanded that they do, our insider knowledge of Murray's situation makes us confident that sadly this accusation is one of the 3% of assault cases that are misreported every year. First off, it's not only 3% that are misreported or false rape allegations, and you didn't run an investigation. They're bitching about the Kavanaugh investigation, which was as thorough as you could possibly make it because someone sent something to the FBI at some point that wasn't corroborated, and she's going, even though this guy was accused of rape, we don't think he did. Really, why not? He said no. And by the way, this is what finally led to the social justice warriors calling for Dunham's cancellation. It's hard not to be happy about this example. I'm generally against cancel culture, but I'm also against raping sisters. Number 3, Chris Evans. Chris Evans is about as woke as you can get for a white guy. He's called Donald Trump a racist. He's been headlining LGBTQ IAIP events to pushing abortion without any restrictions whatsoever. Which, by the way, should be completely out of line, considering the penis. I thought it was no uterus, no opinion. We support
I thought
abortion.
that was the logic.
Bring your cock right in, sir. It's okay, we'll hit the censor button. So him and his co-star, Jeremy Renner, they made the mistake of calling Black Widow, referring to Black Widow, a fictional character, mind you, as a slut.
She's with Bruce. What do you guys make of that?
She's a slut.
I was gonna say something along that line.
Oh my God.
What a trick, man.
Which, by the way, that's actually kind of funny.
It is funny.
It's funny.
I like Jeremy Renner.
They're talking about a cartoon character.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like we've talked about
Named
before,
Black Widow, by the
laughing
way.
is an involuntary action.
Yeah.
He thought that was funny.
Genuinely.
So when it's not this, when we talk about gender is societally conditioned, no. Telling someone that they shouldn't find something that's taboo or offensive funny, that's your attempt at social engineering.
Right,
He
yeah.
laughed. That's a guttural response. That is, this is funny. And you want to tell him that his emotive reaction is wrong. And of course, he apologized. Evan's apology was, we answered in a very juvenile, offensive way that rightfully angered some fans. I regret it, and I sincerely apologize. I'm sorry that this tasteless joke about a fictional character offended anyone. Example number 2, Aziz Ansari. So he should be an expert, by the way, in navigating the whole woke male-female relations.
Yeah,
He was the little brown feminist that could.
You're a feminist if you go to a Jay-Z and Beyonce concert and you're not like, I feel like Beyonce should get 23% less money than Jay-Z. Also, I don't
Wrong.
think Beyonce should have the right to vote.
Wrong.
I don't know anyone who says that.
Nobody.
I know gay guys who use the term queen bee. And then I knew a guy, I only found that out, I found out that, you know how I found out the term queen bee was a thing? Because I heard a bunch of gay guys say queen bee. And then I heard a guy who claimed he was straight say queen bee. And I said, no, no, now I know. It turns out he was gay.
Well, yeah, there you
Your
go.
gaydar was
Yeah,
on.
I don't have any other proof other than he said queen bee, but I'd bet my life.
It doesn't take a lot.
Yeah, that's good enough.
He also wrote, by the way, Aziz Ansari, he wrote this sort of postmodern book on romantic relationships, right? And what did he do? As they come for him too, he committed the unforgivable crime of going on a date with a girl that didn't go so well. So for those of you who are confused, bad date is now a synonym for sexual misconduct. Apparently. Keep in mind, we're not advocating for casual sex here or promiscuity. We're the conservatives who are mocked for advocating abstinence until marriage. But ladies, let me just say this, okay? If you're going to a guy's apartment, okay, and you strip down to nothing and you start engaging in sex, I don't want to say that you're asking for it, but that's only because you're already doing it.
Yeah.
You asked for it, you
act.
got it, you were doing it, and then you didn't want it. Like Chance in Homeward Bound with the Porcupine. I don't want it! I don't want it!
Yeah.
And by the way, I think that guys who specifically target women who are drunk, especially if they're sober, are germs. You should stay away from them. But it was not that kind of a scenario. I want to be really clear here, too. I don't think that Aziz Ansari should be canceled. I'm not advocating that for any of these people. But they will come for you. Okay, example number 1. This one is just too good.
I love this one.
Oh,
yes.
so-
One of my favorite people.
The darling of the left, Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. Remember, this is the guy who broke down in tears apologizing to the Two-Spirit community.
Right.
I didn't know it was a real, I thought it was a Halloween store.
Yeah. I didn't know it was a thing.
April Fools in October.
Two-Spirit. So everyone does have skeletons in their closet, even the guy who apologizes to the Two-Spirit community. But yesterday, Time Magazine, or earlier this week, they dropped the funniest story of all time. With a picture of him attending a party in brown
That's
face.
Justin Trudeau.
That's Justin Trudeau.
No way. That is awesome.
I mean, that is it's technically brown face.
Yes.
But that's black face.
But he's dressed
Let's
in
be
all
honest.
white. It's hilarious.
That's a tube of kiwi shoe polish. We all know exactly
Brilliant
what is
contrast.
happening.
That was
Oh
excellent.
my
It was
gosh.
a mocha, I
Lots
think,
of
was the
contrast.
actual color.
Was that the color?
Yeah,
Yeah.
mocha.
Well, that's also something, by the
Spicy
way,
mocha.
we talk about black. Indians, especially South Indians, can be far darker than black people. So it's not an accurate descriptor.
It's true.
I just want to
It's
be clear
true.
about
It's
that.
racist,
Keep in mind, this is important. I'm not advocating. I don't think he should lose his re-election. But Megyn Kelly
Not for that.
Based
was
on this.
fired, canceled, for merely suggesting that someone doing blackface back in the day might not have been inherently racist. So I want to
Right.
contrast the comments that got Megyn Kelly canceled. Let's juxtapose that with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's apology. Here you go.
Truly, you do get in trouble if you are a white person who puts on blackface on Halloween, or a black person who puts on whiteface for Halloween.
No, you don't. Whiteface is fine.
Back when I was a kid, that was okay as long as you were dressing up as like a character.
I didn't think was racist at the time, but now I recognize it was something racist to do, and I am deeply sorry.
Was that the only time in your life you've ever done something like that?
When I was in high school, I dressed up at a talent show and sang Dale.
Wait,
Dale.
Wait, there's more?
Wow.
Looks like the Mars Volta.
Get a fro on.
The man, he didn't just dabble in blackface. He was positively a blackface connoisseur.
Just so happens.
You can also see on his
digging.
face when this story broke, and they're asking those questions. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that it was racist back then, but now I understand. And he's sitting there, he thinks it's over, and then someone says, "Yes, excuse me, is this the only time?" And you can see in his head, he's going. I've got an answer for this.
Excessive.
I think this is important to note. A lot of people say, well, you know what? I'm not Alex Jones, right? That was when they tried to, when they canceled Alex Jones. And this is one thing I just realized: we're kind of the only program to have endured an all-out assault to be deplatformed.
Because you went back after them hard.
Well, they did it with Milo. They did it with Alex Jones. They've done it with other. I mean, they've done it with people obviously who are not conservatives. They did it. Obviously, they went after Gavin. I think he's still available on YouTube. We'll talk with him about that. We didn't apologize because I didn't do anything wrong. We doubled down. We didn't just go back and by the way, conservatives don't just complain and say, look, they're trying to censor me. No. Come back funnier and harder. Do not apologize if you haven't done anything wrong. Andrew Breitbart, he said, apologize for what? They're going to crucify you for something no matter what. So if you feel like you maybe said something that was on the line, you're not entirely sure, and you think maybe if you apologize it'll go away, remember, they went after Sarah Silverman, Lena Dunham, Aziz Ansari, Trudeau, Chris Evans. You haven't got a shot. None of you have a shot. They will go after you no matter what. And I want to make sure that everyone out there, because we've seen a lot of comedians who used to fancy themselves liberals who have now come to the other side of the fence just because of this cancel culture, while there are still some other comedians saying it's not a real thing, like Andy Kindler. He said it's not a real thing. Really? Okay. I bet you will be talking with him in about 6 months' time. When they go
he'll be on the list. It'll be a top 6.
Jump in the waters warm. We will always be here defending you and advocating against cancel culture because I don't want to see it happen to anybody. And then I'll see you on the other side of that cage with your policies, which I think are stupid, and those should be canceled. Oh, did you like this video? Subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay in the loop. There were videos playing in boxes, but I was just enjoying my pipe. And this pipe was actually purchased through your support at Mug Club, because we don't make any money off of YouTube. LouderWithCrowder.com/Mug Club. Not only do you get access to the entire Blaze catalog, this wonderful hand-etched mug, but hours of content that you don't get to see or find or search here on YouTube. In other words, if you want the show to continue, you join Mug Club. And then I'll expand my pipe collection.